Executive Mom Show. The show is for working women to give you a little pep in your step for your busy work week ahead. Every episode we talk about a career-related topic, and then we share one thing that is amazing that every working mom needs. Today's topic is how to appear smarter than you actually are. I'm going to give you 11 ways. I think these work. Some of these are psychology tips and some have been proven in studies, and then others are just my opinion, and that's fine too. Number 1, don't ask dumb questions. When you do that, you reveal how much you don't know. Okay, let me give you an example that happens frequently, unfortunately. Who is Steve? If you're in a meeting with a lot of people and they are mentioning Steve a lot, you need to find out who Steve is, and you probably shouldn't ask in the meeting of 20 people. Who is Steve? And then someone has to explain to you that Steve is the founder and CEO of the company you work for. That's not a good question. That's not a good question. This happens often. Don't be that person. That's not going to make you appear smarter than you actually are. And frankly, it just shows everyone how little you know. Okay, so what you need to do is if you're joining a company, you need to know the names. This probably could be a tip in itself, but I'm still in bucket number 1. But you need to know people's names, okay? This goes to business acumen, right? You need to understand who's the CEO, who are all their reports, and then you also need to know in the org that you are in, who's your leader, and I would go all the way down the chain to where you are. You need to know those people's names because their names are going to come up. It's going to be very advantageous for you to understand that Steve is the CEO and Susie is the head of product. That's good information to know. You need to know those things. Don't ask who those people are. If you really need to know, which you do, you could message someone on the side and ask them. I've had to do that before. Hey, can you remind me who's Steve? Hopefully it's not the CEO. That's okay if you're in the meeting and you kind of need to know to regroup. Or if you search for more than 5 minutes, you can't figure it out, you can ask someone, but ask a safe employee. Do not bring it up in the meeting with 20 people. Don't do that. Okay. So what you should do is ask good questions. What's a good question? A good question is, what's the outcome we want? That is the best question. I throw that out with everything. People want to do something. I'm like, what is the outcome we want with this? And then I go one step deeper. Once we identify that outcome, I go one step deeper into so that what, right? To make sure this is the right outcome that we should be focused on. Why do we need this outcome, right? I don't use the why questions because those can be a little threatening, get people defensive, but you can say so that we can do what? Just clarify that we've got the right outcome. Those are good questions. Those are good questions. You can use those. Okay, number 2, actively listen. We had this as a topic in one of our other shows. Highly recommend you watch that one. Don't think about what you're going to say. Nope. Speak a little less. Speak a little less. Not everybody needs to hear you speak all the time. The more quiet ones are often a little more mysterious and interesting. And you don't need to respond right away. If someone asks you something, flatter them. Say, that's a good question. That gives them a compliment. Don't make people feel stupid for asking you a question unless the question is, who is Steve? It's hard to navigate that one. I think really focusing on what people are saying, don't be thinking about your answer. You can just really listen and then take a beat before you answer or respond. Totally fine. Makes you appear wiser because you don't jump. You're not nervous. You're not nervous. You're calm. You're thinking. And it's probably a good question or they wouldn't be asking it. Number 3 is related to these good questions. Again, just focus on the outcomes. It's very strategic. Whatever project you're doing, whatever thing you're trying to manage or talk through, be super outcome focused. Don't get lost in the weeds of how and what. Just really pull it back and think about the outcome, and then you can work backwards from there. A lot of people work on the what, like we have to do this event, the event, and who, what, when, where, why, all these things. And it's like, well, wait a minute. What's the outcome and goal of the event? Because that will answer a lot of the other questions that you probably need to think through before you start inviting people to this event. Number 4, speak a little slower. When people speak fast, they can sound nervous. Now, I'm a fast speaker because I'm really impatient. It doesn't serve me well all the time. Slow down, take a breath, breathe in between sentences, and then like stop. Stop talking. Take a beat. Okay? You will come off as much more self-confident. Ooh, the other thing that is so hard related to this. Awkward silences, don't be the person to stop the awkward silence. I, in the past, have felt such a need. If there was a silence, I would fill it. And whatever I filled it with was never any good. It was terrible. It was never good and valuable. Whatever comes out of your mouth needs to be good and valuable. If there is an awkward silence, let it be. Let it be. And pretty soon it won't be awkward for you because you won't really care that much. You won't be so in your own head. You'll be thinking of, gosh, what's the outcome that we want from this? Why are we having this meeting? If no one has anything to say and there's a lot of silences, maybe you shift the conversation to the meeting, right? But don't be the one to break the awkward silence unless you are the leader. If you are the leader and you're hosting, then yes. And maybe that's the question that you bring it to. Like, let's rethink this meeting. Okay, but don't feel that need, especially if it's a one-on-one, peer relationship, one-on-one. You don't need to fill the awkward silence. Don't worry about it. Number 5, get rid of the words like and any filler words such as I feel we know this one. It's not rocket science. Very hard. You have habits. Sometimes those habits are hard to break. Like is the worst. It's really distracting when someone is saying, like, the other day, like, I was getting, like, my Starbucks coffee, and then, like, my phone rang, and then you sound really unintelligent. So, practice makes perfect. Practice not saying it. I tell my children, anytime they hear me say the word like, they get to slap mommy. And boy, I became super aware very quickly, and I stopped that habit. It was fabulous. The other thing related to this is work on your voice. Your voice really does matter. Oprah has a beautiful voice. I believe that is part of the reason why we want to listen to Oprah. She has a beautiful voice and a beautiful way of speaking, and it makes you really want to listen, perk up. So work on your voice and how you are delivering your message. The delivery, oh gosh, I forgot this psychology statistic. I think it's 70% or more of the communication is not actually, it's like the whole package. It's not necessarily what you're saying. It's how it sounds and how you look and all those things. The delivery is important. So work on that. That's still within tip number 5. Number 6, very related, proper grammar. It's important. If you live in the US, figure out what the proper grammar is. If you live in the UK, the grammar is different, even though it's still English. Learn proper grammar, whatever language you're in. It's important. It makes you sound much less intelligent if you're not using proper grammar. Number 7 is know what's happening in the news. You need to know what's going on in the world. I have a tip for this because this is a hard one, right? We don't have a lot of time. I don't have time to watch the news. If you enjoy watching the news, knock yourself out. To me, the news takes too long. There's a lot of fluff. Then we go to the weather, which we already saw the weather. So news doesn't work for me. I have an email from CNN. It's 5 things. That's what it's called. CNN 5 things every morning in my inbox. Tells me the 5 key things that I need to know for that day. A lot of other news. There's one called The Skim, which I love. I'll link that below. That one's really fun, but that's long. It's gotten too long. It's interesting and it's fun. It's tailored for women. It's gotten a little too long for me though, so I stick to the 5 things from CNN because I literally can look at it in less than a minute, and I know the 5 things. Number 8. This one's fun. Use a middle initial in your name. Why? I'm actually not sure, but studies have shown that this gives you more authority. It elevates your social status, JFK. It just really formalizes you. And it's easy to do. You put this on paper, you can put it on your resume. I definitely put this on my resume, and who knows if it's helping, but there are studies behind this that show that it is helping. Number 9 is simplicity. One of the smartest leaders that I worked with told me, if you cannot explain the thing or the situation so that a 7-year-old can understand it, you don't know it well enough. His whole point was simplicity. When there's a complicated issue, you make it simple so people can understand the issue. Simplicity is beautiful, okay? Don't be a complicator. No one likes that. Be a simplicity leader. Is that right grammar? I don't know if that's right grammar, but you get my big picture. You get the outcome of what I am intending with this tip, okay? Number 10, draw on the board. If you are at work and you need to think through ideas, stand up and start writing on the board. Write down people's ideas. It immediately, I don't know why, it gives you authority. It makes you seem very intelligent. And you're not even writing your own ideas. You're writing other people's ideas. If you have an idea, throw it in there. That's totally fine. If you want a bonus tip, draw a graph. You can draw one of those circle graphs where the 2 things meet in the middle, you know, bonus. Or you can do an up and to the right graph. We are here. We need to get here. Up and to the right. Draw one of those. Works for anything. You know, got the 2 axes. You can totally figure this out. Number 11 is use a coffee cup. I don't know why. I don't know why. This could just be my opinion. However, I've heard other people think this as well. You have a coffee in your hand, you immediately look like someone who has it together, who cares about themselves enough to get a lovely coffee, and it just is professional. I don't know why. I'm not sure. So get yourself a coffee. Doesn't even have to be coffee. You could have juice in here. You could have anything in here. You like tea, do that, doesn't matter. The coffee cup just really commands some sort of a professional demeanor, and you are there to do business. It makes you appear smarter than possibly you are. I have a bonus tip. I don't agree with this one, which is why I didn't include it in the 11, but there have been studies on this one as well. Apparently wearing glasses does make you appear smarter than you are. If you have glasses, rock it. Go for it. I do, one day I'll cave and do the glasses thing. I think that I will, because actually I think they're kind of cool. You can use them as a prop. You know, I worked with someone once who she would, if you said something a little out there, she would take her glasses and she would like look at you and be like, what'd you say? You know, and then I had, you know, anyway, they could be kind of fun to play with. So I actually, maybe I'll add it. There's your bonus, 12. Okay. So what's the amazing thing that every working mom needs? You need coffee cups. Okay. You can buy these. I actually buy these. I make my own coffee. I don't have time to go to Starbucks. I'm not that together. I put my own coffee in here. So you can buy these. It's not good for the planet, I know, but if you want one to go, I will link that below. If you are at home and you're enjoying a coffee, this is my favorite ceramic mug. This is huge. I actually don't even know how many ounces this is. It's huge. This is microwavable safe, dishwasher safe. I don't buy anything that's not safe for the dishwasher. But yeah, this is huge. Who knows? I'm not even going to guess, but it's a cappuccino mug, but I use this for everything. I love it. And then if you want to be a little more eco-friendly, this is so good. This is a Yeti. This was a gift from the Wharton MBA school. Thank you. I've done some work with them. This is amazing. if you put a hot drink in here, it will be hot the whole day. And if you put a cold drink, same thing. It is really amazing. Highly recommend. Lovely. I hope this was helpful. You have a lovely day, and we will see you next time. Mwah.